Hello and welcome to our journey looking for the diamond in the rough. Is this club one of those finds? We needed to talk about this. Now, for starters, the setting, right? The late 90s. We have Callaway coming out with these incredibly beautifully finished Callaway Hawkeye, these Callaway Big Bertha clubs, just beautiful clubs. Then we have Ping coming out with these really heterogeneous cast stainless steel clubs, which, look very interesting. They have a lot of character to them. And then here's Taylormade. Okay, when this club was made, they had the titanium, the TI Bubble 2 irons, right, with the tungsten weight. And then they also had, was it a couple of weights they had? And then they had the Tour version of this, right? Just the Taylormade Tour with this nice copper finish to it. And then they have the LCG, which is kind of just there in the middle somewhere. It's not the premium game improvement, and it's not really a Tour blade. It was just kind of like, well, we designed this club and we like it, so we're just going to sell it. Kind of a weird thing. And it wasn't the biggest success, right? Not everybody was running around screaming, we're going to buy these, and they lasted 1 year, replaced by, what was it, the Fire Soul or something. So for me, I look at this club and I feel like it doesn't get enough attention. So I'm bringing it in front of the camera. As a vintage club, more than 20 years old, this club to me is interesting in that it wasn't widely adopted. It's not the most game improvement iron on the planet, but every time I've hit these, they feel really good, even with this famously infamous Bubble 2 shaft, the bubble shafts. Gotta love the bubble shafts. So let's go have a closer look at this interesting contender for diamond in the rough. So it's easy to recognize this club, 1998 LCG Taylormade, with this nice Wynn copper color to it, like the Wynn Resorts. Everybody out there is like, the club came before the Wynn Resorts. I know, I was totally kidding. So LCG, this is the larger of the two copper heads. They had a few irons that year. Let me think. The TI, I think it was the TI Bubble 2, the Bubble 2, and they had the Tour. Right, so this is the larger of the two. The Tour was the smaller one, more compact head, and this was the larger, more. The idea is it would have been the more forgiving head. So you can see new Taylormade logo right here and here. I love this like copper color. It's always just been very iconic of the late 90s Taylormade. And I know a lot of people really like the Fire Soul irons that came out after this. You can see burner on the sole right here with the iron number. Looking at the top line here, you can see a very modern looking club. I think this is where we started to push what people are looking for in a modern club. Some higher quality steel. I'm not complaining about Ping irons, but just mentioning Ping castings in this era were not near as polished as these Taylormade. So you can see the iron number right here as well, along with this little pattern right here. And I, for one, am old-fashioned. I like grooves all the way across because I'm not going to strike it there, and if I strike it here, I want all that grass and debris and everything else, water, to be displaced and get as much spin as possible out of my irons. But it's a fun little design and I like it. So not enough, for me not to play these clubs. So very well finished. Moving to the toe right here, you can see the lovely step here to get us to that large cavity. So very clean design. There's no weird angles. There's nothing to complain about as far as looks go with this iron. Moving up, we have what feels like a nice thick graphite shaft. Pretty clean ferrule right here. Moving up to our, oh dear, Bubble 2 shaft. Don't even get me started about the bubble shafts. I remember the first time I tried to reshaft my own Bubble 2 Taylormade. It was not pretty. So you can see performance right here. It has kind of this copper coloring as well. This is the original grip. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see. I might roll in a picture. It says Taylormade here on the butt. So I guess the next thing to do is get this out and see if it feels as good as it looks. So for me, this iron feels very playable. I would love to game these clubs. They're fine. They're not, I describe some clubs as a brick on a stick. Okay, that's not this. It's not overly heavy. It's not overly massive. It's a good sized iron head and it feels good. Very controllable, happy with it. Now, as far as what were they thinking here? Why did they make this? Why not just the Tour and the Bubble 2? I have a sneaking suspicion I know exactly what it was. It was marketing. Now, this was released in pro shops and in retail locations. A lot of people remember this from retail locations, but I remember seeing this in both and just being like, these aren't really moving, are they? But I think the reason why they did this, they wanted the color, the copper color, to match their drivers, obviously. And they wanted to have the Tour model and the larger model. And so I think it was just kind of that dying off of the copper Bubble 2 phase in Taylormade. And so this made a short appearance. Now back to the discussion about diamond in the rough. Now why this is intriguing in that discussion is Taylormade is so mainstream nowadays, right? They have so many sets and so many lines of golf clubs. And to think that they had one that was out for just a short period of time and then disappeared is kind of, and people that love these are kind of have this like cult status, right? We love the bubble shafts. We love the LCG of all irons. Not mainstream. It's very niche, very cult following. And to me, that's what's intriguing. How could anything Taylormade, thinking about modern Taylormade and all their marketing, how could anything Taylormade have a cult following? It's interesting, but still not, to me, not quite to that diamond in the rough. It's just like a straight, golden nugget that you find somewhere. So let me know your thoughts about the Taylormade LCG irons. Very, very interesting. Mild interest in it. I'm more interested in the Tour. We'll talk about some other options here in future videos. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you want to support the channel, visit my Amazon shop in the links in the description below. I'm looking forward to reading your comments. Thank you so much for watching. I am The Vintage Golfer.